Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So in this video we are going to be installing um, Laravel Breeze with ReactJS, so you can have a nice functioning React application that has authentication already set up. So I've gone ahead and I've already created a Laravel application, so I'm now going to go ahead and open up the terminal. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and essentially install Laravel Breeze. So let's get that installed. So after that, what we want to go ahead and do is we want to go ahead and install Breeze. And we can then select the option here. I'm going to go ahead and select React with Inertia. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and I don't want to select any of these modes in this case, but you may go ahead and choose so if you wish. And Pest as the testing framework. So this is now go ahead and installing. Inside resources, JS, you will now be able to see a bunch of React component here, along with the pages component and a dashboard component. This all contains the starter kit here. However, what we haven't been able to do yet is we haven't been able to migrate things because we need to set up the configuration properly. So let's get started with setting up the correct configuration. So we can head into our env file. Not the env.exam, but the env file, of course. So let's set in there, and in there I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna add in some database configuration I have on my other screen. So let's add this configuration in here, and let's say that we want to call this React Auth. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that, and then I'm gonna go into my database management software, and I'm gonna go in and create a table called React Auth. So let's go in and run the migration. And let's run this application then. So if I go now in here, we can say React Auth the test. And we now have a React application where you can say you've forgotten your password, you can log in, and so on. So let's go in and create a user here. So I'm going to go ahead and call this Tilly, and I'm just going to say tilly@outlook.com. Going to enter in the password. I'm going to register. So this works perfect here, perfect. So we also have the ability to go in and actually edit the user. You can change the password and you can delete the account. All of this is pre-configured, but what about, for example, being able to go in and add in the ability to verify the user via an email? So for this, you need some sort of mail application such as Mailtrap. But I'm going to go in and say use implements must verify email. And we're just going to make sure that it has everything it needs here. So I think this should be everything we need for this. After this, we need to go ahead into our env file. And in here, we're going to have to set up some configuration. I'm going to be using Mailtrap for this application. So I'm going to set it up with Mailtrap. So let's go ahead and create a mailbox here. And I'm just going to call this React. So with that mailbox here created, what we can go ahead and do is we can go ahead and say configuration for level 7 and 8. This will work fine here. It doesn't matter if you have anything above level 7. As long as it's not below, then you need some different configurations. So with that sorted, we now have the mail trap functionality set up, and we should now be able to receive email in here. So in the Laravel documentation, you can see on the email verification, for example, that we need to have use notifiable as well, which we already have, and it must verify email as a class as well. Outside of that, that's actually everything we need to enable authentication with the ability to verify email. So we've already created a user. So what will normally happen is if I go ahead and I go in and create a new user, so I'm just going to call this Tom and make a user for someone named Tom at gmail.com. Doesn't matter the email address here. It's all being trapped in Mailtrap. So I'm going to create this user. And if your mail configuration is set up properly, you shouldn't have any complaints. It may throw an error if it can't send the email correctly. So that's something to look out for. So now Tom's account here has received this email where you must verify your email address. Tom has now verified the email address. We can now head into Table Plus, refresh the table, and you can see that it's been pre-filled with a timestamp, whereas my account doesn't have any. So we can also go in, for example, if you wanted to log into the other account, which had no email verification sorted, we can go in now and say recent verification and click verify email address, and that's sorted. Inside your routes, you can go in and you can configure what needs to have email verified and what doesn't, using the verified middleware, such as the dashboard page, which requires email verification. In that case, it will then head into this component where it says verify email, and you would then be able to resend the verification or log out. So that's automatically going to be triggered now. We could also go ahead and we could log out and then say, I forgot my password. So let's click this button here. And I'm now going to click reset password. And you can now reset the password to something else. I'm just going to change the password to something new. Perfect. I can then log in. And that's it. So this is a starter kit package maintained by Laravel. So this is a super easy thing to get started with. Everyone can use it from the beginning. And it has pre-built components such as a modal and buttons that's already created for you upon installing this package. And obviously the test has also been written for you. So you can go in and see all these authentication tests that has now been written using PEST. So all of this is all sorted for you. You do not need to do anything further from here. You can customize this further, of course, inside the individual views, such as changing the fields. You may want to add in a username field if you, for example, building a social media platform of the like. But that's all for this video. So thank you very much for watching it.
Thank you for watching this video. Please hit the like button and the subscribe button for more content like this.